Hello, it's me, and today I'm going to read Meal One by Ivor Cutler, who not many people know that he wrote lots of books for kids as well, but he did, and they're really funny and really a bit bizarre and surreal. So here we go. One morning, Helbert woke with a plum in his mouth. He pulled it out and held it between his fingers for a good look. It was purple and juicy. Put it in my mouth while I was asleep, he wondered. Me, shouted his mum, stretching out her head from under the bed with a great grin on her lips. Hello, Mum, he smiled. Helbert and his mum were great pals. They played football and fighting and ate fish and chips with their fingers and pickled onions too. They dug holes. Helbert stuck the plum back and chewed it and spat out the stone. Let's plant it, Mum, he said. Where? She replied. Under the bed, he laughed sleepily, stretching out his right arm. So they crouched under the bed and cut a hole in the floorboards. Helbert jagged the bread knife into the wood to break off jaggy splinters, while his mum, who smelled like roses, grass, and washing up liquid, forked the splinters into an empty tin of cherries with a teaspoon. Soon there was a hole. Helbert dropped the stone in. His mum dropped in some dirt and water, and they waited. Anything happening down there? His mum asked. No, he said sadly, nodding his head. Well, she said with a wise nod, banging her head against the bed springs. Ouch! Let's ask it to hurry up. So, together they addressed the plum stone. O stone, O mighty plum, send forth roots and shoots, grow with our love into a plum tree with lots of plums. There was a creaking and a stretching and a scratching and a splintering as a plum tree slowly rose out of the hole, pushing them from under the bed. They watched with open mouths as plum-laden branches pushed through bed springs, mattress, sheet and blankets to fill the room. Look. What lovely plums, gasped Helbert. His mum gasped too, but for a different reason. Where will you sleep now, my wee lad? Helbert jumped into bed, and by twisting and bending he found a way to lie, and then looked up, his eyes popping with happiness. Does that answer your question, Mum? Yes, she replied. Now, come on down for meal one. Helbert unfastened himself from the plum branches and landed on the floor. Look, Mum, 3 new scratches and one's got real blood coming out. His mum kissed his wounds better, dressed him in today's t-shirt but yesterday's trousers, and perching him on her back gave him a ride down to the kitchen. Meal one, here we come, they shouted, and Mum kicked the door open. Ah! They gasped. In the ceiling was a jaggedy hole. Through the hole was a tree. The roots of the tree hung over the table spread with meal one. There was a loud sucking, gobbling noise. One root sucked a boiled egg up. One sucked cornflakes, one was in the teapot, one munched bread and butter, one in the sugar, one slurped noisily in the tall milk jug, one twisted about in the red jam, one was trying to swallow the salt but kept coughing and choking. There was even a root trying to swallow a spoon. It could manage the handle, but not the bowl. Mum, shouted Helbert, I want my breakfast. Mrs. McHerbert went to the kitchen clock and wound it back 1 hour. The plum tree vanished. Helbert slept in his bed. Suddenly he woke with nothing in his mouth. Who put nothing in my mouth? He wondered. Me! Shouted his mum, standing by the door in a shining pinafore. Come on, Helbert, my beautiful son. Meal 1 is served. And she carried Helbert McHerbert downstairs to the kitchen for his breakfast. The end. That's kind of a cool story, isn't it? That was Meal 1 by Ivor Cutler. Stay safe, everyone, and keep well. I hope that you're enjoying your time at home with your families. It's quite weird. I can't remember how to stop doing a Scottish accent now. I used to live in Scotland. That's why I like doing an accent so much. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye.